Well, the IGF was set up as a means of getting people to come together and share ideas and have a dialogue about the future of the net. I remember in the early days of computer networking, many of the people who were the technical folks that got to know each other didn't know each other initially. They may have known a name, they may have read a paper, they had never met the person. Faculty at one university didn't necessarily know faculty in another, even if it was close by. And original ARPANET technology helped to solve that. Once people knew each other, then they could begin to use the network to help sustain those kind of interactions. The global community really only discovered the internet sometime in the late 90s. I mean, it grew in the early part of the 21st century. And part of what's going on here is getting familiar with the world community, leaders in the different countries that are interested in moving forward. People have different senses of where to go, how technology should be used. They have different notions of what are considered basic principles and things they'd like to see happen. And the IGF is a way of harmonizing those kind of things. People can hear from everybody else, and they can sort of see how other people in the world community are thinking and approaching these kind of problems. Quite frankly, I think as the world community learns to understand who they all are, it is very likely that the internet itself can be a vehicle for bringing those people together, because now you're having conversations with people that you may have met, that you may know, you may have a personal relationship with on some basis. You don't need to show up face to face, but it's very hard to have that kind of dialogue in a meaningful way when you've never met the person, don't know them, have never interacted with them in any reasonable sense. Now, the other thing about the IGF is it grew out of the WSIS process, which had, two phases, one in Geneva in '03 and one in Tunis in '05. And at the time, they were focused on a variety of Millennium Development Goals and related issues. But one of the ones that was clearly of interest to many parties was this notion of internet governance. In the process of having those discussions at the WSIS, I think it became clear to those people who were looking for a simple solution to the problem that this was not either a simple problem or, in fact, even amenable to a conventional notion of governance. I used to get questions from many people, saying, well, the internet's important to us. Who's in charge? And my answer to that was, well, there are many things that are really important to us as a global society for which nobody's in charge, but we can't live without, like who's in charge of the world economy, who's in charge of the weather, who's in charge of world health, and the answer is, like for the internet itself, while there's no one in charge, there are these protocols and procedures that make it possible for components of all kinds to interact with each other, whether they be networks or computers or application services. And as a result of that, I think people have got a more moderated view of what governance is likely to be. And these forums were simply devised as a way of continuing that discussion and getting people to, share thoughts with each other, and there may be areas where some notion of principles or policies might make sense, and they may in fact differ by country and region of the world. But I think that's about where this governance debate is going. My guess is that there'll be a need for meetings like this on an ongoing basis, whether they're done annually or whether they have the same structure and function. I don't know, but much of what's going on here, I think, could in fact over time be done over the net.